Greetings everyone and welcome back to Factory Town and to level 2 of the campaign. And the first thing you can see right away is that the campaign maps are actually incredibly interesting to look at. They're not only quite diverse, there's a starter town already here, but it is very, very spread out. So part of a campaign could simply be working with what you've got, and that could perhaps be a little bit of a challenge. I kind of like the quaint, organic feel to it in some ways. But another part of a campaign could be organizing what's already there, kind of like old school SimCity challenge maps, given a city that's kind of in disarray, and then make it better. Right, so our goals for campaign level 2, this one will be significantly less tutorial heavy. I do thank you for your patience with me rambling on and explaining some of the fundamental changes in the first episode of this series, because there were some foundational changes that I think, once again, anyone who had played the game, they were more at risk of those than someone who was fresh to the game, because you would just learn the way it is now rather than assuming you knew how it worked. But our goals are 25 sandwiches, 25 warm coats, 1 forester, 1 pasture. We're at tech level 2, so it means we haven't got access to either of these yet. And that is illustrated over here. We've got to make the wagon wheels, we've got to make the stone bricks. The happiness is not required, but would be useful. We've got 6 out of 8 potential houses, and 18 of 23 current population capacity. But that will continue to expand as our homes upgrade. Now, the last time I played through this campaign level, the school and the whole research and education system was very, very different. That has now changed, and as such, the map itself has been updated to accommodate that. Additionally, let's have a look. Overall, we seem to be in a fairly good position. Now, you will notice that there are a couple of little things that weren't here on the last episode. The dev is knocking out further quality of life updates at an incredible pace. But the meeples now have little thought bubbles that tell you exactly what they're thinking if they're just hanging around. Why they're hanging around. And, oh, this is quite interesting. What's going on here, then? So we're already seeing the use of some wooden conveyors, and indeed those are new here since the last time I played this campaign level. So this one's just pumping those into a crate, which is then serviced by a wagon. You'll notice the speed difference right there. It is quite extreme for a wagon. Meeple barely have any speed difference walking on cobbled roads to regular kind of like packed earth paths. But the wagons themselves have an incredible speed upgrade. Though I am a little bit worried about how narrow those streets are. But this is new. I mean, we've got 20 planks, 20 planks. I'm trying to understand, especially this one, why... Oh, is this might be something new as well. At least, if it isn't, then I've been quite oblivious to it this entire time, and more fool me, I guess. But previously, I don't believe storage crates had access to the global inventory. Specifically, barns was such a big thing because they had access to the global inventory, so you could build out of them. In much the same way you can build out of anything that is present in the town centre. But these crates didn't used to be. They used to just be a useful kind of middle step in your logistics chain. Something that your meeples could drop into nice and quickly if the crate was near where they were working, and then a wagon could come along and empty. But outside of that, crates weren't very useful. But if they now have access to the global inventory, then that is going to make crates significantly more useful in the long term. And that's actually a really, really cool change. All right, we've also got a bridge over here for no particular reason that I can tell. Maybe so that we have access to the apples, though. Wow. Okay. I like that look. That is actually quite a cool effect. I'm going to store that in the architect archive in my brain for future builds. Nice. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started then. Item production, we're currently shipping bricks only down here. We're not selling bricks. Fair enough. That means our red coin production is basically going to be at a standstill. In fact, there's lots of things here that we can change up a little. I love the fact that we've got a farm, but we've still got people gathering corn grain by hand. That's quite amusing. But let's go ahead and get up to tech level 3 if we can. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I did espy, yes I did, I spied a workshop just over here. Now, currently, this is making, or set to make books and cloth. So, I guess we would want a farm right here. Do we have access to farm buildings? We do not yet have access to farm buildings. Okay. Let's have a look then. I guess that's also gated by tech level 3. Alright, well, for the time being then... actually, you know what? Since that's sat there, and it's already set up, we'll make a new one. We'll make a new one. And we'll place it just down here for a second, while we make this area a little bit better. Now, you can terraform in this game, if you particularly want to. And that's not something I really showcased last time, but you can absolutely terraform. Destroy blocks, pick up, remove block layer. Oh. Is that now slightly different? It used to be that you could, but maybe that is now changed with the release. Select block, select column, destroy block, remove block layer. It looks like terraforming controls are gone. Well now, there I was about to explain how terraforming works, but it looks like we're not going to be getting that option anymore. Very well. What I will do then is I'm going to build out some stone platforms over here. I want a nice solid foundation for our workshop. Let's pop that down there. Now, if they've removed terraforming, honestly, I'm kind of behind that change. I wouldn't have minded having terraforming, but at a much steeper cost than it used to exist. But even if they've removed it wholesale, I'm still kind of with that because I like the idea of having to work with the terrain as it exists. But I'll have a more thorough investigation later. Now, I would like some wooden wheels. So, you little meeple, how quickly are we filling this up? Right, first and foremost then, I would like you to take wooden wheels from here, and I would like you to bring them down there. That is now your job. I've got enough wooden wheels with us to make just one worker. One wagon, rather. So let's pop you there. I would like you to pick up planks, drop them off there, and if that is full, take them over to the general store. That will be much, much better. As for the logs, I kind of feel that a forester would be fantastic over here, and this looks like it's basically begging for a forester, and I'm sure we're going to get one of those in time. How are you doing down here? What are you waiting on exactly? I think you're waiting on pickup. Yes, the others are waiting on drop-off. You're waiting on pickup because we don't have a lot of mining taking place over here. So let's get at least 2 more meeples working on the quarry. There we go. There we are. And we'll add in a little bit of extra room for you to get all of that done. Once the barn is full, and it looks like it won't be long before that, then we're going to be fine down there. In the meanwhile, I'm thinking that maybe an extra house or 2 wouldn't go amiss. So how about we could place a house down here and just have water piped straight into that house. Are you within the town's perimeter? You absolutely are. So let's pop you down. And we want one more house. Should we have a house up near the quarry? I kind of feel it. I do. Either that or a house over, well, this is an interesting one. This road is not connected to the main road that is connected to the town centre. And you'll notice that the green line doesn't follow it. And you can also see where this road extends beyond the area that is connected to the town. So again, it isn't part of the town. So that's an interesting one as well. Except, no, it is. Very interesting. So I suppose that by building it here, we'd be connected to the... Yeah, we're connected to all of the buildings within the town as long as it's connected to that road. So I guess then this only affects what buildings are connected to the town itself. So for example, if I moved this down here, let's try that out. I moved that down here. This is still connected to 5 houses, but it's only connected to 5 of them rather than all 7. Those 2 are missing. Whereas if I connect up to the town centre itself, this connects to all of the areas. Since I'm delivering the flour direct to this, I may as well have that just there, just to cut down on the trip that our wagon is having to make. That is going to massively improve the speed that we're getting that done. And there we go, we've got our tech level already. Okay, so farming, forestry, intermediate logistics, kitchen, fluid pipes, tailor, coin boosters, and wooden railways. Are we going to be going for wooden railways? Let me have a quick look if there are any buildings on this map that we are going to need it. There are traders that will spawn on the map, both in custom scenarios like this one, the campaign maps, or in the procedurally generated worlds. You'll find traders around who will have various trade offers available, and quite often rails make the best, the most sense in trying to get between those locations. But it doesn't look like we've got one here for now, at the very least. We're going to need to make wooden rails and cloth conveyors to upgrade to tech level 4, and that is part of our job. But for now, what we would very much like to do is go ahead and set up either farming or forestry. Both are available. I would say farming, because farming is going to get us books that much faster. So farming is going to be the first one we open up, and that's also going to give us the pasture, which is another one of the buildings that we're going to need. But for the time being, let's find the workshop down here. I'm going to scooch you forward a little bit. You can now be right there. We're going to want a cotton farm right behind. And in fact, we could scooch you forward even more. Maybe even have you right up against this, the mill there. Could we move the mill across a little bit? We could, actually. Let's go ahead and make it look nice, though. So we're going to make a proper wooden platform. Just a little area, not so much a jetty, but something that will give them a little bit more purchase as they head out. And then we can grab these, take them out front of each one. There we are. Probably going to use chutes to deliver wood down here. That would make more sense to me. And finally, we're going to build a new farm right down here with access to both water and all of the cotton fields. And eventually we can expand this out and make it a farm that is planted expressly rather than using the natural nodes. Now, obviously, we're going to want cotton. There we are. Now, I do believe that cotton can move along a chute, but let's just double check. Can it go down there? Yes, it can. Marvelous. All right, and in that case, let's have that just branch in there. Perfect. Now, as for this farm, that should be within range. It is not, sadly, within range. So, drawing this path out won't have much use to us right now, but I'm going to do it anyway for the future, where we might want to bring deliveries of fertilizer down here. Now, meeples. Do we have wooden conveyors? We don't, but we possibly will have the means to make them in the future. For now, though, let's just pick up the paper and drop it off over here. That will immediately be made into books, and the books themselves can then be carted up the hill to the school. Are we going to... how often are we going to make these books? We're not making them nearly often enough to warrant a cart, so a single meeple will be more than sufficient. But books generate a lot more research points than paper does. Paper generates 1 research point, gives 1 experience, 1 happiness, and lasts for 60 seconds, whereas a book generates 10 research points, 5 experience. So it's 10 times as effective for the research points, 5 times as effective for the experience, and twice as effective for the happiness duration. How long does it take to consume it? It takes twice as long to consume a book as well. So this will actually really, really boost our research generation there. I'm going to finish off this little path there just to make sure that everything is connected, should it want to be connected. We have completely saturated the demand for flour as well. So that does mean that we could have a little house. Maybe we'll put a little house down by the school, perhaps. That might be quite nice. Where would we fit it, though? That actually begs the question, doesn't it? This is not as easy of a placement as I would like. That being said, we can totally have a little terrace over here. Let's go ahead and set this up. Remind me of my home, actually. The first home I ever lived in when I was a wee Aavak. There we go. Pop you there. Lovely. Right, that's maxed out all of our building capacity now, for the time being at the very least. In terms of research generation, we're already back to the point where we can now build a forester. So let's go ahead and get that one researched. Well, actually, what is required for forestry? Oh no, there we are. It's just 100 and 100 coins. That's perfectly fine for us. Okay, now with the Forester, let's go ahead and set this area up. We no longer need meeple working it. Should I have the Forester elevated? There is one small reason to do that, but it isn't really that obvious here. So I'm not going to do it. The gains would be very slight. But just so that you understand what I was thinking about, is if I built the Forester up higher, then there would be a natural decline for the chute. And as I've mentioned before, the chutes run on gravity, whereas a conveyor does not care about an incline or a decline. The chutes do. If it's going downhill, it gathers speed, and it'll maintain that speed. For whatever other failings they have, the meeple of Factory Town have discovered the technology of frictionless surfaces. They have gone even beyond super lubricants. This is zero friction. This is Mass Effect style technology right here, and they use it for their chutes. That's the only place they use it, actually. Things rolling down a chute gather speed, and they never lose it as long as they're traveling in a straight line. The moment they take a corner, they slow right down. Or if they try to go uphill, then it slows down completely. But going downhill and straight, amazing. And if you've got a Forester very far away, up a nice cliff face, you can build up some impressive speed going downhill. But we're not going to need that here. Let's pop that down. And in fact, as soon as you've delivered, you can go home. And... oh, there we go. Both of you can head back. There we are. We're going to want a chute to take care of all of this. And in fact, we're not going to need this back here at all. Let's build out a little path just in case... drat. Okay, well, we're going to adjust this a little bit. Paths are interesting beasts in that they can exist along a weird edge. Roads can't do this, but paths can. But if you draw the path out in a line, sometimes the game will try to be clever and be like, oh, I can see what you want. And it can't. It doesn't actually understand what you want. Sadly. But A for effort, game. A for effort. Right, there we go. So our lumber mill is now completely taken care of. At this point, I'm kind of feeling that we probably don't... well, you've already set that up, so I guess I'm going to let you finish it. But what I will do is you no longer need to be there, and this barn, we're going to do something very similar as we've got over here. Honestly, this is amazing. This one little trick here is blowing my mind, if I'm honest. We're going to put a single crate right here, and down here we're going to have a path that goes straight into it. Now, the reason why I did that, I could have placed the crate over here and used a pusher to give it priority, so it would push the logs off the chute and into the crate if there was room. But the way that this game works is if a surface, if the chute has a straight line, it will tend towards it. It's not going to take a curve unless it's being pushed to take that curve. So this is now giving priority to stacking this crate full of logs. And you know what? Maybe we could have an extra person working in there. How quickly are we using up the logs? We're using up one log every 3 seconds, more or less, right now. We're producing 2 logs. One log every 2 seconds at the moment. That's good enough. I'm happy with that. Eventually, it's going to tap out, and then we don't need to add too many more workers to this. In fact, well, we do need 2, because otherwise it'd be 1 log every 4 seconds, and we're using it faster than that. So that's about as efficient as we're going to make that system, unless I really want to ramp up the production of planks. And I don't really, if I'm honest. This is good enough as is. Right, let's have a look over here. We're storing a frankly stupid amount of wooden wheels. I disapprove. And I'm really tempted, now that you've told me how to do this game, I'm not going to be able to unsee this. I would very much like the wagon wheels to be brought here. Drop off in there, and if you can't, sell them. We straight up don't need that many wagon wheels. We do not need 100 wagon wheels, or 200, or 400. It will never need that many. A barn can be useful because we can store more things in it, but that is just amazing. That's like a life hack I didn't even know I needed until I had it. Right, how are we doing down here? happiness-wise, the books could be a little bit faster, if I'm perfectly honest. Now, I could build a forester around this little area to service that, and there is a decent reason to try. Can we see the lay of the train a little bit better? I think it's flat over here, but down here a little bit less so. What we're going to do, we're going to go into tools, and we're going to remove this one lone tree right there. We're going to build another forester. It seems like a rather expensive building to give just for this one purpose, but I feel it'll be worth it. We'll still have one meeple working in the forester, but they will be very effective at what they're doing now. Now, we need to build the ramp all the way up to it, though. There we are. And because I am finicky about such things, and I like it to look like there are legitimate supports allowing for something to move around, we're going to set this up. And straight down. In we go. Perfect. Do we want this to be a little bit faster once again? Actually, no, this is made every 4 seconds, and it makes 2 paper when it does, so getting 1 log every 4 seconds is more than enough. In fact, well, it's 1.1 and 1.1. Well, yeah, actually, that's perfect. We will be stocking up plenty of paper down here as a direct result of this. The only thing that is now going to slow us down is the production of the cloth. That is a little bit of an issue, especially because books require 2 of it. So, how about we increase this up to 2.3? We're still going to be held back by the production of the bolts of cloth. If I really wanted to change that, I could have another workshop specifically built for making cloth, and by being the only thing it makes, I could tweak the amount of work effort available to make sure that was going together nice and fast. But this is good enough, I feel. I'm reasonably happy with that. This is going to increase the happiness saturation of our education a lot more. On that note, if we have a look in the houses and their happiness, we'll see that there is room for a little bit of extra happiness. So what I could do in this case... Well, we're massively outproducing the paper. Maybe we could go ahead and deliver some of it elsewhere. So, sure. Grab paper, drop it off there, but if you can't fit it, take it up there. That way, in the future, should there be too much paper available, and the books aren't being made fast enough, we'll sell the paper as well. In fact, with that in mind, I will actually slow down the production, just so that there is room for a little bit of paper being moved elsewhere. Right, okay, so the next thing that we're going to want, we've got our foresters. We could upgrade the town level, and that would actually bring this within the town's bonus area. Well, actually, it technically still is, so just, I think. This one won't be getting any happiness bonus, neither will these. The school doesn't use a happiness bonus, but still, I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to upgrade. There we go. That has now definitely pulled this within the happiness bonus of the town. On that point, it's also brought that within. We've got our masonry within. Okay, so everything is coming together. Now then, ooh, town speciality can be assigned. Oh, very nice indeed. Okay, so specialities are something new as well, and this was more or less introduced specifically to give you a reason to set up more than one town. Previously, you would end up almost always. It was the unspoken meta to have one town, one set of market buildings, and all of your houses dedicated to that one hub, the one urban hub, if you like. And then you would have, disparate, distant production facilities that would train in those resources to the markets. It makes sense. It's kind of how it works in real life. But it didn't really give you much of a reason to ever actually expand out. But now, with these, with the specialities, each town centre can only realistically support a certain number of homes, and that is by design. Also, once certain conditions are met, you can specialise that town. So, forestry potentially doubles the output of related recipes. Probability increases with the town centre level. So, we would have a 60% chance of getting 2 times the output for anything that comes from a tree. So, planks, apples, pears, wooden logs, wagon wheels, or wooden wheels, dragon fruit, wooden pipes, and axes would all have... Axes being... Wow, that is actually kind of amazing. But let's definitely go with that. Now, it's going to take red coins to upgrade to the next level, and we're going to need 48 house levels. That's going to take a little while to get to, but it would be very, very much worth our time if we could. On that note, let's go ahead and check out what's going on in here. I would very much like fluid pipes. Indeed, indeed, indeed. We'd also like animal pasture, so we're going to grab that. We're going to unlock the animal pasture, and then I'm going to also grab the fluid pipe straight away. If I can, I would very much like to be able to pipe water to every single home. It's a dream, okay? It's a beautiful dream. One day we're going to get there. One day every home is going to have drinking water piped into it. The modern living standards, they're frankly getting a little dizzying heights. Soon people won't even bother going to work because why bother? They've got water piped to their homes. Oh my lord. I sound far too much like some of the politicians in Britain right now. That makes my mouth taste bad. Alright, so let's... Oh my lord. Right, let's go ahead and see what we're going to need for this. We're going to need... Well, we're going to have a pasture and a workshop. The pasture is going to be grand, though. For that, we're going to need a little farm somewhere outside of our regular space. We're going to want to turn that into animal feed. Now, we can make animal feed out of other things, though, as well, on that note. I believe if we actually build the food mill, I do like that it's called something different than grain mill now because it can actually use different stuff. Carrots, potatoes, and wheat. Or rather, grain. I think we've got potatoes over there, so we could set this up on the far side. We've got potatoes down there. I don't think we've got carrots. Oh no, we've got carrots over by the shoreline. We are going to need water nearby wherever we set this up. So there is a part of me that would like to do it over here and near this farm, since we're going to be producing the manure here anyway, or rather using the manure here. It makes a lot of sense. All right. Well, let's prep this area then. I'm going to bring this grain mill over. Oh, again, food mill. I'm going to make that mistake a lot. I do apologize in advance if you hear me say grain mill instead of food mill. A, you have my permission to call me out on it. But B, please understand it's because I've played this game a lot, and it has been a grain mill for a very long time. I will get used to it, but it will take me a little while. Right, we are going to want... Yeah, sure, we can build this back here. You can head on home, but you're actually going to get a new job straight away as a farmer. This farmer is going to be down hither, working at yon grain mill. Damn it, food mill! I literally just said. We will have the output go straight down, and if we play our cards right, I should be able to just connect all of this up with a neat little area there. I am going to be finicky, and I am going to get rid of that point there. Honestly, you are not needed over here. Go home. Go home. Spend time with your family. There we are. It's okay. Now, normally, that might be worrisome, but in our glorious utopian village, you don't actually need money to get food or any of the luxuries, like, water being piped to your house once that's available. You can just enjoy your life. Maybe read some books. Educate yourself. There we are. And through your studious efforts, you will elevate our culture to never-before-imagined heights. We would like some animal feed made from grains, please and indeed thank you. And then I would like a pasture. And this pasture... Yeah, sure, we can have the pasture more or less go straight out there. There's no reason not to. Well, actually, there kind of is a reason not to. And I will tell you what that is, and that is that we'll clog the way for potential carts in the future. And we're going to need a lot of them. We are going to be moving around a decent amount of fertilizer around these areas. So, with that in mind, let me go ahead and also remove these resources. And at this point, I feel that we've got enough... Oh, dread. Okay. Now, as I was mentioning earlier, stone is not as comfortable taking weird angles. So we're going to need to build this up properly. But we can make use of stone platforms for this. You can draw the roads over them as well if you really want to. I can use a stone ramp. I can even have stone stairs if I particularly want to. But a stone ramp would make more sense here. Wow, this is actually quite a ways up, isn't it? Okay, well, now we've got that in place, let's copy you. Oh no, actually, we're going to need to bring that across again. And now we can copy you. And sure, I'll bring that up around there. There we go. That's a nice little path. I'm going to turn that into a road as well. You don't have to add the extra if you don't want to. Let's draw that up. Oh, can you not? Maybe you can't. Maybe that platform considers itself a road as is. And if that's the case, I'm totally okay with it. Right, I would like to extend this road all the way down now. There we go. Now this should count as a road. Let's hope. I guess the easiest way to find out is to pipe something into it. But first we are going to need the animal feed brought down here. Now what do we want to use over here? We'll get fertilizer out of almost anything. The only two types of produce or recipe that you can select at an animal pasture that won't produce fertilizer as well as a byproduct is anything to do with chicken. So it's egg or raw chicken. Don't produce fertilizer. You can simply produce fertilizer if you want, and that's a very efficient recipe for the production of fertilizer. You can also produce wool, you can produce leather, you can produce milk. I mean, it makes a little bit of sense with milk, because typically dairy cows, you're not slaughtering dairy cows. The meat from a dairy cow is not quite the same as the meat from a meat cow. I mean, I guess all cows are made of meat. Oh, you know what I mean, though. But whereas if you're raising a herd for slaughter, for their meat specifically, they're going to be a very different type of cow. They're going to be fed differently. And yeah, you're going to get a lot of skin. So that makes sense with the leather. But here you can either get the leather and the fertilizer, the meat and the fertilizer. We can't see that right now, but you can. Or the milk and the fertilizer. You can't have both. So yeah, I'm not sure I approve of this. Use all of the kill. If you're going to kill it, use every little bit of it. Use the horn for tools. Use the tendons melted down into glue. Use the skin for leather. Use the meat for food. Every tiny little bit should be used for something. If you're going to take its life at all. My lord. Right. This has turned into a very... The last one was a rambly episode. This one's a ranty one. My lord. I apologise. Nevertheless, we are going to, I think, for the warm coat, if we have a look, that's actually going to need both. It's going to need both wool and leather. Huh. Alright, well. What can I sell immediately? Can leather just be sold? Yes, it can. So can wool. But leather is the slightly more useful immediately. But both are going to be needed. So I'm going to produce wool here. And I'm kind of feeling that we're going to just straight up produce leather behind it. Is where I'm at. Okay, well, this is going to change up how I'm building this. But I think we can make it work. Let's go ahead and rotate you. We're going to grab a second one. We're going to place it right here. Like so. Now, this is the problem. Can we actually do any degree of terraforming? Let's have a look. If we can't, destroy block layer, I wonder. No. I can only assume that if terraforming yet exists, it is going to be gated behind some degree of research. That's my guess as to the changes there. But let's grab this. Can we come down here? Yes, we can. Okay, that's perfectly fine then. We can absolutely make this work. Can we branch out a little bit? Yes, we can. Ah, perfect. We can't quite there, but that's fine. We will use structural blocks. We'll have a stone ramp right there, and a stone platform as well. Actually, a stone platform rather than a stone block. I think the platforms look a bit nicer. Yep. There's something to be said about that, but there we go. That works. Oh, is it only the ramps that can't have the roads built? Okay. Well, bit of an odd choice, but sure. I'll live with it. It might be the difference between a block and a platform. Actually, let's have a look at that. For science, people. For science, the best sort of time. All right, let's see if that works. Ah, okay. So the ramps do work, whereas the scaffold ramps work, whereas the stone ramps do not. Duly noted. Let's get rid of you then. And go and grab this. Oh, we've got the road there, sadly. Okay, well, we'll just use the stone ramps. I'm not sure if it would make a difference, and there's a part of me that's like, but by doing it this way, I've now robbed myself of the opportunity for science. A dark, dark day. But here we are, nevertheless. Alright, so this one is producing... that is wool. This one will need... Okay, you know what? Epic, go away. Epic's just sat there. Hey, I've got an announcement. I'm just going to clog your screen until you listen to me. Alright, we are going to want a... Where are we? We want a crate. I mean, I could have this deliver to... No, a crate I think will be fine. And we could have... For fertilizer, I believe we can actually... bring out? No. Let's choose. Can fertilizer work? Yes, it looks like it can. Fertilizer here as well. Now, it's a little bit hard to see what I'm doing, but that should allow us to extract the fertilizer and pop it into this crate, from whence we can build with it, or indeed deliver it to the farms. And that is the main thing. I know it's a little bit harder to see when the everything is so close together like this, but hopefully it will work. There we go. And we'll have these delivered evenly to both locations. If we go through logistics, we do have the splitter available, so I will make it split evenly between them. Finally, we're going to want wooden pipes. That is now a necessity for us. And since we do have access down here, wooden pipes are going to need both the presence of planks and, if we have a look in here, planks and logs? No, they don't. Have we not researched them? Let me have a quick... Oh, sorry. I pressed R whilst hovering over something and you turn it. Fluid pipes. Well, we've already unlocked that, so how does one build a fluid pipe? Oh, is it perhaps something we make in the mill itself? Yes, it is. Okay, very well. And it is just made out of regular logs. Okay, that's perfectly fine then. Let's go ahead and set that up. There we go. And I suppose I could have the fluid pipes. Well, we're going to need to deliver these somewhere. That being said, we don't strictly need all of these conveyors, so I could be extremely cheeky. I'm going to delete all that for now. I'm going to build a new one of these right at the very top. See, the problem is it looks weird. I'm going to be honest with you. It looks weird, and I don't like it. Aavak does not approve of weird structures hanging in the air for no discernible reason. Fluid pipes and planks can go at the back. The planks probably need storage elsewhere, since there are going to be buildings that need at least 40. Do you know what? Wait. We've got a better idea. Aavak is fixing. Aavak is improving, even. And that's the best sort of thing for an Aavak to do. Let us not be content with these random things all over the place. No. We need a barn. Indeed. The barn can live here. And this barn, well, doesn't strictly need a road going to it, but it's going to have one. There we are. Now, we can go ahead and use the conveyors that we've just repurposed. Yeah, wooden conveyor belt. One there, one there. I would like to set up the barn first. Okay, so planks, happy with. The wooden pipes, we don't need that many. And so this one I'm going to set to not be used for now. So it doesn't get filled with anything in particular. Technically speaking, I would be okay with having the wagon wheels delivered over to the barn instead. Sure, okay. There we are, up to 100 on each. I think we're going to need a lot of planks in the future. There we go. Technically speaking, there's probably only buildings that require 40, but I might want to build a lot of them, so I don't want to have to hang around waiting for them to fill. So I would like a fairly convincing buffer of planks. And that does mean that we're going to have a convincing buffer of all of the other things, but that's okay by me. Right, let's shimmy you down a little bit. Ooh, we're going to need to first... Can I just grab that? Is it possible at all for me to... No. It seems that... Oh, wait. Oh, no, no. I believe what was about to happen there was... if you try to build a building and it doesn't have a sufficient support, it will just build the supports for you. Let's grab the stone platforms once again. Build them across there. Now we can move you all the way down. There we are. Alright. And as for you, honestly, at this stage, you can go home. Because, thanks to the wonders of modern conveyor belts, we can straight up bring those conveyor belts across. Now, I'm going to need a grabber. If you don't have it directly leaving a building when you build it, the grabbers won't activate. It won't figure out that that's what you wanted. But there we go. Now everything should start filling this as necessary. This is full, but we should be able to delete it. If we delete it like that, then it'll just dump all of its items into the next available storage, which will almost always be the town center. But I'm fine with that. We'll pull from that town center with time. Alright, so that has greatly enhanced everything down here. Now, of course, if I really wanted to be snazzy, and there's a little part of me that does, I could deliver the planks and split them between both of these locations. But since I'm not making the conveyor belts right now, and I should, realistically speaking, that would... I don't know if I've got enough conveyors to be able to make a long enough path. Yeah, I've got one left here. Sorry, no, it only takes one, but I've only got 4. So I think I'm going to be happy with it as is. What I may do is set up a new structure down around here somewhere that'll allow for that. But for now, this is good enough. I don't think we're going to need to worry too much about the conveyor belts. Right, so all of that is done. What we need now is a well. Let's go ahead and plonk you down. Where are we going to have the well? I'm struggling so hard to avoid the well puns. You've no idea. Or maybe you do. I hope you're proud of me. Because this is hard. And over there. Pump. Perfect. Now, we could take this water and deliver it elsewhere. But honestly, how much water are we going to be using? 2 a second. Sorry, no. 1 every half second there. And 1 every third there. So actually this is okay, 1 a second. But this is not generating it particularly fast because it's actually not next to a body of water, and that will dramatically improve it. So how about we shift you? We're going to build these wells along the bank of this little river down there. As much as this was a useful design, if the well was going to be right next to it, and that was nice, we don't need that. What we need is to bring the pipes... Actually, a very convenient change is that pipes are shown on the layer where you're going to be using those pipes. We'll split this off to this farm. Bring it over to this farm. And then down here to both of these farms. Now, obviously, that's not producing a lot, but because we can build on the side of this river and it's all going to have access to water, there we are. This is marvelous. Let's go ahead and just hook all of these up, and we will have a nice amount of water being generated. There we go. Now, this one is only going to filter occasionally, so we do need a splitter down here, much like other locations. Water in pipes works exactly the same way as anywhere else, and that is it will prioritize a straight line rather than branching. But there we go. Everything now has production. And we are starting to see fertilizer being delivered, our happiest of days. And with that marvellous fertilizer, we can start planting some farm tiles over here. And over here as well. Not that we really need them there, strictly speaking. Down here would be nice. Once we've got the availability. These are producing slowly, though. They won't produce if their output is full. Now, this is a bit of an interesting one. Because you'll notice that... Well, this one's actually full there, but I can't really see why that isn't being output already. But this one's a bit of a strange one, in that fertilizer won't block production. A place can be full of fertilizer and still it will produce its primary resource. Fertilizer is, by and large, a secondary resource only. So you don't need to worry about that one as much. But the primary will block the production of more fertilizer if you don't have enough. For now, we don't have a tailor, so just grab that and sell it. And you grab the leather and indeed sell it. Oh, did we not set this one up properly? Pick up and drop off. There we go. And once again, then we can see the fertilizer moving back out. Or we should be. Let me remove that and see if we can... Ah, ha, ha! Okay. Oops. A daisy. It doesn't know which direction it's meant to flow in. That should be okay now. Let's keep our fingers crossed. I'm going to have to check back just to be sure. But either way, there we go. That should be wonderful. And now that we've got all of that going, let's grab another one of you. I would like you to pick up fertilizer and drop it off here. And drop it off there. And finally, drop it off here, if it's available. Now, down on this side, we're going to want a couple of farm plots just to help with the cotton growing. For the time being, I'm just going to place it where the cotton already exists. And we're also going to want to bring across some of the wooden pipes as well. That can come from around here and straight down. Once again, we'll add in a splitter just to be certain that it will actually split properly. But all of these fields will now be watered, or should be. And they will also be fertilized from time to time. We've got plenty of fertilizer being produced here. Now, obviously, we could actually move that fertilizer via a chute directly to the farms, and there's something to be said about that option as well. But for the time being, I think this is good enough. This one will eventually fill up with fertilizer. Each one of these fields will consume the fertilizer at a fairly steady pace as well, but that is a much better place to be at this stage. Okay, so with that, I'm afraid we have run out of time. But we've actually made some pretty solid progress. We haven't started on towards tech level 4. We have, however, made people happy enough that we can get another 4 houses, and not a moment too soon, actually. We've completed 2 of the check marks, and we are producing the materials that we're going to need for the warm coats. Both the wool and, indeed, the leather. We're already producing the cotton down here. Now, we're probably going to want to have a better cotton field for that, like a dedicated one, I'm thinking, and maybe even something around here to try and keep all of this close by. That would cut down on the amount of wagons that we're going to need. In fact, if we're delivering those directly into the tailor, that would be ideal for us, I would say. But that is going to be it from me. I do hope you've enjoyed. And we'll be looking forward to the next, where we're almost certainly going to be able to wrap up the second island. And maybe we'll even make a start on the third. We'll have to see how much progress we can make. But that is going to be it from me. So, as always, do take care, everyone.